morning and welcome to the transparency. How we doing? Hopefully good. It is Good Friday, so Good Friday to all of you guys. This weekend's Easter. If you guys got plans with your families, friends, loved ones, enjoy it. I know I will be enjoying it with my family. Again, welcome to Truth and Transparency. Hello to the mods. What up, mods? Members, subscribers, make yourself known after the show by using your touch DNA on one of the thumbs, up or down, your choice based on your opinion. Imagine that. You're allowed to have an opinion here. So long as you do it respectfully. So, good morning. Yes, it's a morning live. I will say it. I don't know where people can come across and say that, I have a source close to the investigation, these sources. Guys, there's a gag order, period. So I don't know who these sources are. But whoever they are, they should lose their job, right? Because you're violating like a very important gag order. So with that said, don't know who these sources could be. Either they're irrelevant and not really sources that are close to the investigation, or somebody feels that, special, the rules don't apply to them in terms of the gag order. So why is the judge not reacting? Yeah, I don't know. It's frickin' frack. That's who I blame. Frickin' frack. Good morning there, Joe. How you doing? Again, welcome everybody. When it's all said and done, make yourself known by slapping the thumbs up or thumbs down. So as far as the IDs or NID, this is nothing new in terms of when we went through the search warrants and what they found. So I think it's kind of interesting that they would be, bringing that up now and to talk about it. It's nothing new. It was there in the search warrants. Now all of a sudden, Brian has one of these IDs from the victims or somebody that's connected to the Idaho murders. How can you be connected to the Idaho murders? What makes you connected to the Idaho murders or the house? Or, does that mean he has like a cop's ID? It's just, anytime you see something like that and it's worded that way, you should be scratching your head. If you have a source close to the investigation, or why aren't you just saying the ID that they would have had? So not only does Brian Kohlberger go in there, kill 4 people in 8 to 12 minutes, but then he's rummaging through to, okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this ID versus that ID. We know that Xana was identified by her ID at the house. So we know that it can't be Xana's ID because her ID was there to help identify that was her. Would an Idaho gag order affect Pennsylvania? Well, I would think that they would be involved in the arrest of Brian Kohlberger. So I would think that because the investigators were all working together, I would think any investigator / department that was involved would be part of that gag order. Because the whole point of this is that it was a collective effort on all these law enforcement agencies to arrest Brian Kohlberger. So, it would be, I can't imagine that the gag order would be like, oh, but you know what, if you're in Washington or you're in Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter. You're free from it. I don't buy that at all. So, I think for me also is you wanted to get as much evidence as you could, and yet here you were just never approached the guy, never talked to the guy, especially if he wasn't on your radar in some type of capacity, then he should have just been like any other person, right? We'll take a look at this. Let's go back to, I'll try to blow this up. December 16, 2022. White car spotted in surveillance footage of homeowner staying near University of Idaho students' victims. Right here, I'm going to give a shout out to Joe. I'd been looking for this article for a minute because I wanted the name of the person that spoke up on this article who gave them the surveillance. Okay. So this is a surveillance footage from the property near to where the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students took place. Was obtained by police and showed a white car traveling around the time of the incident. Now, back then, around the time of the incident, well, nobody knows when the incident was, unless we're going by law enforcement to say 3 and 4 a.m., right? So keep that in mind. Kane was his name, who lived just 0.3 miles from the murder scene in Moscow, said that detectives had reached out to him on November 14th. So that Monday, a day after the 4 students were brutally murdered in their beds. Here we see in their beds. Since the last week, police have asked for the public's help in tracking down the occupant or occupants of a white Hyundai Elantra in connection to the case. The surveillance footage placed on top of his 6-unit rental building on Linda Lane showed a white car speeding past. Only a side view of the car, however, was captured in the footage. It remains unclear if the car was the same one the police have linked to the murders. Now, I thought that was interesting wording. This was wrote December 16th, 2022. And the police never linked this car to the murders. Okay, this car was just said to have been in the area and they had vital information, but linked to the murders, that's a very interesting word. Like, that's interesting wording. More than a month after the unsolved murder or unsolved crime, no arrests have been made or a murder weapon recovered by police, leading to anger and anguish among the victims' families. Kane said, I downloaded it and gave them access to everything from 2 a.m. through noon on that Sunday, the 13th. He said the detectives told him they would run their special analysis tools on the footage to find the clues and described the car, which zoomed west on Taylor Road between 2:14 a.m. and 3:15 a.m. on November 13th. And it was both described as white and light colored. Now, the Banfield camp with Banfield, that's the vehicle they're talking about. That's the vehicle that they're talking about, is what you see on the Banfield footage. I was more concerned with where this guy's camera was, to be right down where Linda Lane is, and because this so-called speeding away and stuff, are they referring to the car speeding away on Taylor? Because let's go back and talk about what I said the other day, which was, why was this footage never released for like to the public, you're looking for a specific vehicle. It's in the, it's in the immediate area, yada, yada, yada. But they never release the video or a still image of the video. They use a stock photo. Why? So they had this on the 14th of November, by the way. Kane's rental building and its camera sit on a hill facing Taylor Road, the main street that connects 1122 King Road to Highway 95, the route the killer may have taken upon fleeing. The property owner said he also noticed a sedan traveling west towards 1122 King Road around 1:45 a.m. and return to the highway a few minutes later, suspecting the involvement of a third-party driver who dropped 2 victims before the murders. Anyways, this is where they announced that Moscow police said in their press release on Thursday that the investigators are sorting through 22,000 registered Hyundai Elantras from 2011 to 2013 that fit into the search criteria of a car near 1122 King Road the night of the killings. Police have recovered other footage from a gas station, which showed a white sedan driving along Highway 8 at 3:45 a.m. The employee of the gas station, who wanted to remain anonymous for safety reasons, said the sedan drove past real quick before turning off the highway down the street. Anyways, this is your Linda Lane footage. This is Linda Lane. And I had been looking for the owner of that footage. I couldn't recall what piece of writing and published material. And Joe had sent it to me, and I was like, this is what I was looking for. So thank you there, Joe. Appreciate your awesome email, because it really, really was something I've been looking for. Made my stuff a hell of a lot easier to be sorting through that stuff. But anyways, that's that. So this was, again, this is the Linda Lane. This is the footage that they had it's like very, very early on, okay? And so it brought me to start thinking about, we've never seen the footage. We've never seen the footage. We've never seen the footage. But this time frame that Linda Lane had caught, you guys, think about it. This proves, okay, this guy doesn't talk about anything after 4 o'clock. This guy's talking about these specific times, and he downloaded it and he gave him everything. And they're going to use their special tools. Basically, we're going to submit this to the FBI to go ahead and get us a make and model. Okay, it's exactly what they said they did in the PCA. All right. So they had this. Is this vehicle a white Elantra? And I believe it's the same footage that you see in the back of the Banfield camp, like the camera. And I don't believe it is a white Elantra. But this is this time frame, and this time frame is not the same as the 417, 404. I can promise you this guy does not have a camera on his building to see Taylor Road. He has a camera on his building to see his property, okay? And it just happens to catch this, okay? So that was really, really interesting to me that there was no mention by this man about catching anything that was actually on and right in front of his property. This is about Taylor, Okay. And this was so early on in the investigation that when he was interviewed and whoever did this interview, they need to go back and look if they did, like, if they got information through email, however they got information. I'm going to attempt, I mean, I don't know if he's considered a witness. I mean, I'm not going to, but this person would have been going through their Ring camera footage. I just had to do it the past couple days for a missing friend. Thank God, found. But there is no talks about this car being anywhere like on the same road, which is basically when you pass the student's home and you keep going and you go straight, you're going to go into the Queen, where the Queen apartments are. And then when you pass that, like right there, that's where I believe that this camera is from, on the corner of Linda Lane. So this camera pick up anything right around, like in front of their home, because this vehicle that passes by the house, attempts to park, does all this stuff, it had to turn around at some point to be able to go facing the other way. So did it turn up, past Queen Apartments to turn around there? Because that's what I believe. And one of the times, did it go back behind the house? Because they don't talk about that. But they never show us the footage of this vehicle that they're looking for. Now, you mix that in with the talks of all this ID stuff. Like, you guys, so Brian went in there, and you think the night of the murders was in and out of there in 8 to 12 minutes and was rummaging through to find people's IDs in 8 to 12 minutes. You can automatically throw Xana's out because they say in the PC that Xana's ID was there, and that's how they identified her, was from her ID. So let's throw out Xana. Now, he does all of this. If whatever IDs he have, I believe he did not get them, okay, that night or early morning. If that had been something that would have happened, prior. Also, we have no idea when they say connected to what does that even mean? Connected. That could be the landlord's ID. He owns the home. He's connected. But there would be blood, like, all over that ID. Right? You're rummaging through stuff, right? You're going through people's purses and wallets to get to these IDs that you think that this person took, like, while committing 4 stabbings in 8 to 12 minutes. And where is this even coming from? Oh, that's right. A source close to the investigation who should be gagged. Okay. How come they're not talking about the Brady anymore? How come they're not talking about Giglio Brady anymore? Oh, because we can't talk about that because that's not a narrative we want to push. So let's go and talk about this. Let's go and talk about these IDs. We have no idea how many. They were shoved in a glove inside. Yeah, in a glove. And then back right after his arrest, Pennsylvania already said, what was it? Is Brian connected to any other murders, any other unsolved homicides? And there was an article done back right after his arrest, like towards the end of the month in January, that no. Like, but how about this? Remember when the internet went crazy about the couple out of Oregon that was stabbed to death, okay? In the middle of the night, one of them survived, the couple. And you remember everybody was writing in, okay? So much so that the police the police are over here saying in a typed up press release. Let's see what day it was. Hey guys, we do not believe that the two are connected. We do not believe that the two are connected. So let me get that. Yeah. We don't believe that there's any connection. No connection. No connection. Okay. So they said there's no connection between we don't see any connection between the Oregon couple that was stabbed in the middle of the night, okay, back a year ago prior to this, quadruple murder, that they were working with investigators there. No connection. Okay. Yet you have experts that are coming on now saying that, well, we're looking for how you would want to say that something like this could be connected, like Brian could be connected to this, is you want to look for MOs, meaning like, look for stabbings in the middle of the night, like things that would be similar to this crime, right? And I said, well, that'd be the Oregon couple getting stabbed in the middle of the night, because it's like a man, woman, Ethan, Xana, man, woman, but immediately, guys, think about this. They didn't have to come out and say that's not connected. They can say like, we're looking into this. Like, yeah, we're well aware that happened. We're looking into that avenue. But they wrote it off so quickly, and it was just like, but now here we are, and people want to talk about that stuff's being reinvestigated, or Brian Culver's being investigated for other unsolved, crimes now. What? Like, what were y'all doing back in December when you said that you were working with the FBI and you're working with the Idaho State Police and other law enforcement agencies such as that county? And we can't see any connections. We can't find any connections. How's it like? That's pretty quick to say you can't find any connections when you don't have a suspect. What do you mean? Are you just referring to like the DNA that was at that crime scene doesn't match the DNA that you found on the sheath? Like, what are you talking about? So, point being, though, is when you're saying that we don't see any connections, we don't see any connections. We don't believe that we don't believe that they're connected. Crazy. But now, News Nation and other outlets that are covering this case are making it seem like Pennsylvania is looking into Brian Culver for other murders, unsolved murders. But at the end of at the end of January, beginning of February, Pennsylvania had said it completely different. I mean, it's just crazy. Because I would think that there's anything that's similar, it'd be obviously anything to do with, if they said stabbings in the middle of the night, and that would be the Oregon case. But clearly something involved with that case is, and my guess is that there's DNA. It doesn't match the sheath. As Familia, it doesn't match. That's my guess. Anyways, yeah, I had covered Dana Smithers actually because it was in the Poconos and it was not that far from where his parents live, but more importantly, she was out at a festival that night and in a couple different bars. So, and she like legit went missing, like from the point of walking from her friend's house to her house, which was just, a couple doors down. So, I think it's interesting when you say that they didn't have their eyes on BK, but yet they're ruling out connections of homicides that this could be related to, or it's just wild to me. It wouldn't be ruling out anything unless what? Unless it's like we have somebody and we have DNA and that DNA doesn't match that DNA, like that's where you're ruling stuff out. DNA. Cuff and her daffer be concerning me. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Dana's sister. Um, I think that's not getting as much as attention as it deserves because of her past, but that's just my opinion. Um, again, guys, just come on. 8 to 12 minutes. He goes in there, he kills and stabs 4 people to death. Then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to leave a sheath." He would have realized it, in my opinion, when you're going to go put this knife where, because if you had it clipped to you, I mean, you didn't have enough time to go back to get the sheath, but you were rummaging through purses and IDs, so to get these IDs. So I hope that the crime scene photos are indicative of that, because when would he have gotten anybody's ID that is connected with that home? Because I don't believe it was on this night that the crimes happened, if he does have them. But even more so of a reason why you would probably want to go approach and talk to a person like this when you came across him on 11/29. I wouldn't have even messed with sheath to begin with. Yeah. If you're going there to kill, right? Just took it right off the dresser. It was just sitting there, so I just snatched it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had one of those cases, Annie. When with my iPhone, that IDs are in the back of the case, and like so is like there's a room for like your ID, a card, like a credit card, or like a debit card. And I started thinking like back in the day, I'm like, this is so like not safe that I have my ID and you remember guys, those like clip cases where you can like open them up and then like it's like a wallet phone thing. Same with that. Like I always said, like if I ever lost this, like it's everything. Boom. Snatched it up in the dark. Boop. Take the IDs and leave the sheath. When and where are you getting that info? I'm not getting any info. I don't believe that, and I don't believe the source. You know what they say? A story is as only good as its source. I don't believe the source, so therefore I don't believe the story. I don't believe that this is whoever is saying this. I think I posted it last night. Consider the source. Okay. I'm not putting my career on the line that I worked my ass off for to tell some, I don't know, correspondent. Hey, there you go. Well, unless I was protected, but it's the digital age. Everything's digital. So how's anybody getting this information if you're not what? Oh, hey, call me up on the phone. Why would anybody be talking to that's involved with this case be talking on the phone or emailing with the media. That's all traceable. Yes. I agree there. Miss Nine, they have proven themselves not credible over and over again. Yeah, and you know what? And nobody calls them out on their shit. You know, if I feel like if I was to say something and be just like totally like, I would never hear the end of it. But you know what? That's that's typical. Just you want to keep out pumping out information because everybody has a very short term memory when it comes to, I think, just in general in life that people forget. Like, so you're just, oh, people move on. People, you know, so here, start talking about this, start talking about that. And I don't, Banfield isn't the one that came out with that about the IDs. Um, in my opinion, Banfield's only blunder was Kara. You have to also give the media credit for keeping stories in the, you know, in the national spotlight. And how do you do that when there's a gag order? To get possible new relevant information, right? Because everything would be rumors. All of this is rumors, guys. This is nothing but rumors. That's why over here, when I want to break down stuff, I pull up stuff to create a timeline to show that this is what the police were looking at this point in time. This is what the police were looking at this point in time. You know, where was the investigation going with the authorities, you know, as the days went by, and what was being reported by the media outlets as the days went by. So when you do it like that, you can start actually eliminating some things. And you can also point out things that are like, I know for me, a big part of this was I wanted to know when the police did what, because you're able to tell the priority of what they deemed, you know, important. You know, when you want to go out and get this search warrant or where this investigation was leading in order to be like, okay, hey, we need to go grab this. We need to go grab that. Because there's always going to be customary things that you go out and you get search warrants for just because it's customary. Okay. I think the amount of hits that came back for all the financial searches for me was very, very interesting. But I also played devil's advocate with it and said, okay, back when I was in college, I remember going around and filling out these stupid applications to get like stupid free shit and then like never went forward with my like getting of the credit card. But I got a ton of like free calling cards. I just remember like we get all those stupid gifts, you know? But there's going to be information on you. Because I went to Fifth Third Bank the other day to ask them to look up and see if I was still in the system from when I was in college. I hadn't had a Fifth Third banking account since 1999 to 2005. I only banked with Fifth Third during my college years. Okay, so I went down the street, set up an appointment, met with the guy, and I gave him business because he was amazing. And I asked him a bunch of questions. Okay. And I said, okay, he's like, are you a bank? You know, are you a member here? I said, no, because I asked him to sign an affidavit, watch me sign an affidavit so he could like notarize it. And he's like, you have to be a bank member to do that here. I said, well, I think you're going to have to make me a bank member. I said, well, wait a second. I was a bank member back in, you know, my college days because UC Cincinnati was big with Fifth Third. Our arena was named Fifth Third Arena. So I banked there. Anyways, he puts in my name and he's like, oh my God, yeah, we already have it's called a user portal. Like your name's already in the system. So he pulls me up and he's like, well, look at this. Like, I don't even have to do this and I can sign your notarized or whatever. And so I just started asking a bunch of questions because of this case. So we started talking. And I said, if I was to fill out an application for this, that, and the other, what would come up? He's like, oh yeah, all of that would come up. I said, if a search warrant was served upon you, what would you supply? He said, we would just take your whole case, download it, and give it. So your whole case, like anything that would be in my file. He's like, some stuff would be, because I was like, well, somebody stole checks back when I was in college, and I had to do a police report on that. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, depending on how many years had passed, but if something like that would have happened, let's say this past year, we would have obviously all of that. And you fill out to get, a loan for a house. And, so we were just going on about this. Bottom line is that, if these kids were filling out applications at any point in time on college campuses, even on WSU's campus, they're setting up those little tables and you're doing that, you're going to create your name in the system. So then something's going to come back, at least if it was just to say, you had applied for a credit card and this was the date, boom. Anyways, going back to all this hoopla that's going on with this IDs and that they were in a glove and a blah, 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 blah. You guys, do you realize that handwriting on that search warrant is for shit? I think my son can write better. And let me tell you something. He doesn't even have good penmanship as a first grader. And I get on him about it. But what if that line says something different? What if that line says inside out cards, like IO? Is that a D? ID cards? What if it's IO? Inside out. And everyone's probably like, what? Inside out? What are you talking about? Well, that's what I thought too. But see, I like to learn new things about things. So I said, an inside out card is when you can see the inside of the card from the outside of it. Okay. So for me, you guys, in my car, if you were to go through my vehicle and you get to the glove compartment, I have actually cards in there because you open up your mail in your glove, in your car. So when I would open up mail, that would be a card from parents send you Valentine's Day cards. I get happy, St. Patrick's Day cards, I get birthday cards. And if I open something up in my vehicle, there's been times that, especially if it's something that I want to keep and I don't want it to get thrown out when I'm cleaning out my car, I'll throw cards like that in my glove compartment. Now, am I saying that's what it is? No. But I'm saying I can't even read half the crap that they put on there. But that's what an inside out card is. It's a card that you can see the inside, some of the inside, from just looking at it from the outside. Anyways, so throw that up there as a possibility. But for me, 8 to 12 minutes, go in there, come out, and he saw an ID laying somewhere, so he grabbed it. That's even just more trace. And where did he put the ID at? In his pocket with a knife? And you know what's interesting though too? Think about this. If I break a story right now, if I was to break a story and I say I have a source close to the investigation, or I have a source, blah, blah, blah. Me saying that, you guys, I know who my source is, right? I know who the source is, right? Unless some anonymous person emailed me and sent me a picture of a picture taken of what we're talking about. And it's an anonymous person that says Joe Blow. have a trustworthy source. Okay, so then you know this person. Yeah, but I don't have to tell that to you. And I'm protected. Because of XYZ in our laws, I'm protected. I'm an anonymous source. You guys, but I'm being Annie's my anonymous source. So you guys, my my whole damn chat is my anonymous source. I have no idea who any of you guys are, but these are my sources. Leanna, where'd you get your information from? My anonymous sources, they're so reliable too. What? Now, check this out. When my girl Jo here emailed me, you guys, I get tons of emails, and I love them. I try to get through them, okay? And I do get through them. And even if I don't write you back, I'm telling you, I read them. But I try to I do my best to try to comment back. Even if it's short and quick, just think about this. It's not because I don't think that what you have to say is important. That's my way of trying to get responding to the majority of them. But when Jo sent me, that article, she sent me a little letter. Okay. Lana, do you have multiple emails? I do have multiple emails. I do. Hi, Dr. Thrifty. How are you, babe? Happy Easter, Passover, whatever it is that you're celebrating. Happy to you. So she sent me over a little letter, and it was cute. But what was awesome what she said, she's like, I found some other stuff. Here you go. But, double check everything and she was awesome because to say the words, double check stuff. I'm not here to feed you X, Y, Z. Okay. And I just love seeing that because that's somebody that cares enough to say that, doesn't want to push misinformation, isn't trying to push a narrative. It's just, hey, this is what I came across type of thing while I was trying to find, X, Y, Z. And something that I thought was just, this case has there's a lot of ironic things, crazy connections, So when I got this lovely message, they were deep diving, and she was watching another creator, and she said, you know how 500 Queen Road Apartments, Unit 52, you could see that, and then when you try to go past that point, you used to be able to take your Google and be able to go past that point and be able to go down that road, but you can't anymore. Just like you can't go behind the house anymore. Okay. And that 500 Queen Road Apartment 52, that unit, it's mentioned just like that. And I said back in the day, it's because somebody was reading that map while they were writing this, in my opinion. So people were looking up that area. And Jo was like, I swear to God, you can't make this stuff up. But she's like, I came across the weed man. The weed, DAHWEED. And I don't want to be doxing anybody, but his social media, account, in parentheses after his first name, middle name, and last name, it says DAH space WEED. And she was funny. She's like, you can't make it up, Lana. You just can't make it up. And so anyways, I went ahead and looked at this person. And I swear he could be like Enon's cousin with the long hair. Oh my God. So I do my homework, and when someone sends me something, I search it. But I said, who the hell puts the weed? I mean, the weed man. And I'm just like, wow. Just like when we were watching the other day, we come across the socials for Emma Bailey and Demetrius. Who puts blow on their social media like that with a WSU student's ID over a diploma and says, come party? Like, what? But see, this is why I think criminals are dumb. And cops laugh. Law enforcement laughs. They don't. Investigating has changed. There's no more, pound the pavement with your feet. It's like, let's get on the computer and like, let's just look at what idiots these people are. Geotagging themselves everywhere where they're going to make drug deals. Like, what? Anyways, Amy Parent, thank you. Thank you. People that think they're untouchable, that's who does it. I mean, I just hope that the person isn't involved. Maybe it's like I don't know. I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, what the weed means, but so yeah, came across that. They don't live there anymore. They do live in another location. This person was a student at Idaho, and most certainly had an address that linked back where that Queen Road number 52 unit is, and the weed over here. But that's what they have. Their social as, and I'm just like, what? Yes, Dr. Thrifty, did you see that? You know what's interesting about that? She would have no part of that. When she pulled him over, she was trying to help him, like, okay, let me just go do this. And she let him go. She let him go. Whiskey Jack, thank you so much. You did an amazing job covering all these cases. Thank you. So, you know what I thought about Dr. Thrifty? Is that the same vehicle or is it a different vehicle? Because that was something that was interesting to me. Was the 50? Was the make and model of that vehicle? Yes, any updates on Sheldon or Davon? Yep, hopefully we'll hear stuff from Sheldon in June, they were saying. I thought it would be back before then, and Davon, we're working on getting out some more stuff, especially his transcripts. So, but going back to, I think that people really need to focus on, mainstream media is taking you a place, whether it's clicks and views. Right here, this article that was done, because I know I'm following up with Sharma on this December 16th, 2022 article, because this is the person right here that had the Linda Lane camera footage. And what they reported here to this person, this was so early on, December 16th, okay? It was amazing what they said in here because nothing was in front of the home in the time frame of this. But this was all stuff that was caught on Taylor. Okay, and it's at the same time frame of the ban field. So that's the vehicle that they're talking about. They had the one angle coming from where the cops were, and they had the other angle coming from where Linda Lane was, okay? But guys, that's between that time frame there. We're all over here thinking this is around the time of the homicides. Okay? But you need to push this back an hour. 417. Again, the surveillance footage placed on top of his 6-unit rental building on Linda Lane showed a white car speeding past. Speeding past what? Only a side view of the car, however, was captured in the footage. Only a side view of the car, however, was captured in the footage. You know what would be interesting is to ask homie, Cade here, what the timestamp was that his camera got it, and then compare it to the timestamp on the Banfield camera, and to see if it's exactly like the same timestamp. But this is what he gave authorities on November 14th, and right here, he is quoted. He said the detectives told him they would run their special analysis tools on the footage. And that's exactly what they said in the PCA that they did, that they got the FBI to look at footage on WSU's campus, on Moscow's campus, to determine these. And here, okay, the property owner said he also noticed a sedan traveling west towards 1122 King Road around 1:45 a.m. Okay, go to the PCA. Now check this out. PCA. As part of the investigation on page 5, an extensive search commonly referred to in law enforcement as video canvass was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th. Okay. This video canvass resulted in collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area, both residential and business addresses. Both. A review of a camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. Okay. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Walnut Drive. All of the time frame that they're referring to in the PCA, guys, check this out. 2:14 a.m., 3:15 a.m. That's not mentioned at all in the PCA. No time frames of that. The first time frame on campus in the area in Moscow is 3:26 a.m. Now where it talks about the west driving west, right here. The property owner said he also noticed a sedan traveling west towards 1122 King Road around 1:45. Now I go back up, and he said he turned over the footage from what time to what time. He did not have anything past that. He says it right. Maybe it's up further. No, that's it. I thought he talks about that he gave it up all the way till noon the next day. Yeah, surveillance footage from property near where the murders of the 4 Idaho students took place was obtained. I'm just curious if this is any of the surveillance that they're using. Yeah, thank you for that. Everybody have a blessed Easter. See, also, suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence. And I've always thought that's interesting, the area. But it doesn't say where it's coming from. You know, it just appears and, so the next couple days, no one's really talked about this. I think we need to talk about it because I want you guys to start thinking about it. And the next couple days, while I'm spending time with family and friends, and hopefully you guys will be doing the same, we're going to start talking about what was Brian Kohlberger doing that Friday, that Saturday. What was he doing? Brian will have vegan Easter ham for us. Well, I'm sure that Ashley Banfield will be reporting on what his meal will be. So make sure you guys tune in to hear what he'll be eating. But we just hear about this white Elantra appearing on a camera at 2:45 in the morning. What was this white Elantra doing prior to that? What was Brian doing all day Saturday? What was Brian doing all day Friday? What was he doing? Where was he? You're telling me all the cameras that are around that area, the first time it's on camera, they can place it on a camera is at 2:47, I think, 2:40. Right here. 2:44. A video review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north. Like, where was it before that? Where was it before that? We pin plotted this point on a map, and we showed you where his apartment was and where this pinpoint was. And then at 2:53, we pinpointed where that was, and we're like, he's basically in the same location. So what was Brian Kohlberger doing for those 9 minutes? Just making laps around by where the police station is, WSU campus? I remember the directions were wrong. But where was that white vehicle prior to 2:42 a.m., 2:47 a.m.? Because it's not at his home. Like, that car is not like pulling out of his driveway. For example, guys, In the Sheldon Jeter Jr. case, across the street from where Sheldon lived was his aunt's home. His aunt's house had surveillance on her house, which also they made it so that it would have surveillance on his home because of everything that had happened after the Rachel Del Tondo murder. And people were, coming at him, giving him a hard time. Most notably, the police. They were. Everybody is either trying to pin the murder of Rachel Del Tondo on Sheldon Jeter Jr. or Frank Atropa. And both those two gentlemen, everybody's all over them, right? Well, in the Sheldon Jeter Jr. case that went to trial in June for a murder of a friend, there was surveillance of Sheldon Jeter Jr. walking in and out of his home, okay, getting in his vehicle from his home and then pulling away, okay, and then them using, very similar to what they're doing here, following a vehicle around, all right? But the difference between that, and hopefully they have it, the difference between Sheldon Jeter Jr.'s case, from what I can see right now, is that the surveillance that they're using, they're placing this vehicle coming and going from Sheldon's home, okay, that they're following around town. This PCA just picks out a car that is at some location at 247, all right, and is looking at all these cameras throughout the area, see when you can possibly come across something in that time frame. To then start following when you see a white-looking sedan. But it just poof comes out of nowhere. So what I mean by all of that is that that's exactly what I mean. It just poof comes out of nowhere. How can you place that vehicle going anywhere if you're just like starting? It's like you're starting a movie, 50 minutes in. Well, back it up. Where is it before that point? Well, we can't find it. So and like I said, whereas in the Sheldon case, you're at least bringing to the table this vehicle that you're putting on him. You're showing him getting into the car. Well, where their big hiccup is the vehicle is seen leaving his house to then when it's going to the Dollar General, it should have been there in 2 minutes because it's only 0.3 miles away, and it takes 9 minutes for that car to get there. So it's kind of similar with this case in terms of them using surveillance to follow a vehicle, because that's what they did with Sheldon. They're talking about the same type of thing, but here you're telling me there's no ring cameras over there. You're telling me no one that lives in an apartment over there has ring cameras at the Step-To apartments. No one has ring cameras. Let me just show you how amazing ring cameras are. I'm gonna show you guys something. So I just mentioned earlier that my friend had gone missing, or what I thought had gone missing. And so, you don't hear from your friends. You worry about them. Well, thank God it was just like a phone thing and they got a new phone because it broke. But I was over here like, what the hell is going on? So I'm over here Because like when you have like your certain routines that you do with your friends, like so I get my happy ass in a vehicle and I go over. And first thing I do is look in the trash to see how much trash is in someone's trash bin outside to see when they last put like any type of garbage, even in their outside garbage can. And immediately I thought about this case because I was like, oh great, FBI coming to snatch up the trash. But anyways, there was no trash in there. And then I just start knocking on the neighbors. Hey, when did you see your neighbor last? um, and this street is awesome. They have the best neighbors. They're like, oh my God, you want to see our ring camera? Whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. Ring, 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 ring. All these people, ring cameras, ring cameras. Okay. I was amazed at how much you can see from someone's ring camera. Like I'm talking about like the width of it. Why wouldn't Brian remove his plate? Pennsylvania doesn't require you to have a front plate. So, but neither does Ohio. So if that's what they're alluding to. So I'm over here getting all this ring camera footage. They're sending me it through my, text message. You can just like, send all this stuff. So I'm looking through this because then of course I just get curious with cases, like just to see how stuff like what would make it pick up, what is it able to dude, this has audio. I was like, I got 3 stay-at-home moms that are all neighbors, and they're like, oh my God, don't think that we're nosy or anything, but like we can just, our offices are like, there's our window, and then we're able to see things. And I was like, yeah, I'll take all of your surveillance. So, I mean, clearly I'm going to go hard for my friends, and then just come to find out, oh, a homegirl got a new phone. Anyways, needless to say, these neighbors were awesome. And we're all looking through ring camera footage so I can see, the whereabouts of my friend. So I just think about it and I'm like, dude, but it's 2022 at the time. You're telling me no one has dash cams or ring camera footage? And then so I asked them, I was like, well, what if I wanted to look at something that went back like 3 to 4 months? She's like, oh, tell me just the date. It's in here. It's in here. So they would be able to, it's not like, oh, well, they couldn't get any of this on Brian's, complex because so much time had passed. That's not true at all. Not when you're talking about the ring. So I do want to throw that out there. We should always be checking up on our friends, by the way. So over the next couple days, guys, while you're chatting up, Easter dinner, whatever it is that you're going to do the next couple days, ask your family, why they would ever be up and about at 2:30 in the morning, driving around. And as far as all the stuff that's out on the internet, mainstream media and their sources, well, I can either tell you A, they're not reliable sources, or B, they should lose their job if they are. And then in closing, whatever's going on there in Delphi with Richard Allen and the way that they're housing inmates, and prison's not supposed to be a vacation by any means, but you are innocent until proven guilty. And one can take just a look at the one picture next to what he looked like just, being arrested, and, WTF, what's going on? His lawyers had to put an emergency order. The information's out there. I started following that case and doing deep dives a couple months prior to the Idaho4 murders. and still pay close attention to that case. The defense still does not have discovery requests that they made at the end of March. As of April 3rd, they didn't still have stuff. Um, and then let's take a look at Bob Lee and the footage that the Daily Mail obtained. I will say trigger warning. This is a trigger warning. This is camera footage and the dispatch of the 911 call and from the apartment complex. So what I thought was interesting to compare is he had been stabbed, and he clearly was walking from someplace to try to get the attention of vehicles, as well as try to get into that apartment complex to get help. So this is a trigger warning. They do a pretty good job of covering the stuff up, but you can see that he's struggling. So I just want to put that out there. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. There is no audio with the film, but there is audio from the dispatch after she takes his 911 call. So let's see here. 1 second. Again, this is a trigger warning, so please, here you go. There's actually better footage. Yeah, they wrote over this is not what I wanted. Hold on. This is from San Francisco, but hold on 1 second here. That's not what I wanted. Okay, this is what I wanted. They must have changed this. Okay, so this part's blurry, but there's a car that pulls up and he tries to get, so here he's walking towards, he tried to get a car to stop. He's trying to walk towards this. He already has obviously these stab wounds, but here's the inside footage. He has his, he just collapses. Then he's able to somehow try to still, you know, he's crouched over. He's trying to use his phone. He's moving his head up and down. He sees a vehicle. He tries to raise his hand there to try to go get this car. And it's all very odd to me, to be honest. See right there, he's crouched over. Well, when I press pause, it goes off of it. And they're blurring this part out because it says like blood in his hands. But he's crouched over, then he sees a car. See, there's like the blood droppings there. Oopsies. Let me play this dispatch.
This is a cell phone site location. Advise he's bleeding out. 14-hour copy. There's a male screaming help, saying someone stabbed me. He is not giving a 20. This is a cell phone site location. Advise he's bleeding out. Medics are around code 3. Unit back. 1756. 365 Main, cross of Folsom and Harrison. However, that's a cell phone site. We're still waiting for an exact 20. He is outside on the street. Site location, advise he's bleeding out. Medics are around code 3. Unit back. 1756. 3 stabbed me. He is not giving a 20. This is a cell phone site location. Advise he's bleeding out. Medics are around code 3. Unit back. 1756.
So that's the stuff that's out there. But go ahead, dissect that footage a little bit on Bob Lee. I think it's interesting. But he was out and about San Francisco, 2:36 in the morning was when this happened. So he was there for a business trip. He had just recently moved to Miami he relocated from San Francisco. He was there for a work trip for a week. He extended his trip by 1 day, and this was the day that this happened. So, yeah, Lucy Day, there was a warning. Have a good day. Haters gonna hate. Then there was nothing triggering about the audio. It's a dispatch. So, anyways, but yeah, check it out. Bob Lee. There's also more information on my community post. Again, thank you guys for being here this morning, and hope you guys have a great holiday weekend. Be safe, and I'll be with you guys to deep dive, and I'll be producing some videos that will just be uploaded. They won't be lives, but they'll be videos. So pay attention to when those quick short vids, like 3 to 8 minutes, covering the Idaho4 case and like the top 20 moments, I guess you could say. Again, thank you for the members for being here. Thank you for the moderators for being here, subscribers. And then, as always, on your way out, make yourself known based on if you liked the video, thumbs it up. If you didn't, thumbs it down. Until next time, thank you guys. And special shout out to Joe. Thank you for that email. I was looking for that. So thank you. Again, appreciate you all. Take care.